It didn't start yet.
Start? Start, okay. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, as always, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, so would everybody please rise? And Councilman Lupinacci, would you lead us tonight?
My pleasure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Thank you at home for watching. Today's date is Wednesday, September 25th. Special day for me. Thank you all for your, thank you everybody for your birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Wish I was somewhere else other than here tonight, but I'm here, so.
We do too.
I know. My colleagues do too. So at 6 p.m., we met in executive session with Greg Falchetti, Town Legal Counsel, for attorney-client matters. The second item on the executive session was to interview prospective vendor consultants for the master plan and code revisions that you're all aware of that we're moving forward with. So we're in the phase now of selecting, interviewing, and then selecting a consulting firm that's going to assist the town and guide us through the new master plan and the code revision. So we met with the second firm this evening, and we have one more, I believe, Susie, that we're going to be meeting with next week to interview as well, and then the board will deliberate after the interview process and select a firm that's going to assist us in that process. So we're looking forward to that. The community is looking forward to developing a new master plan and code revisions, which you all will be involved in. The community is going to participate in that process. So it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to take probably up to 2 years, I'm guessing. But at the end, we're going to have a new master plan that's going to fit with what the community's needs are now and into the future. So we're looking forward to that. And Susie's going to be coordinating those efforts. She's done a good job so far, and I know she's going to continue to spearhead that. So
Well, with everybody.
thanks, Susie. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, before we get started, I'm just going to make a quick statement. For everybody, I mean the public and the board. What happened here last Wednesday, on September 18th, at the conclusion of this town board meeting, was an embarrassment. It was something that should never have occurred. I understand why it occurred, but it should never have occurred. The behavior that took place here and on the part of several individuals, which I'm not going to name, is not acceptable, and that type of behavior is not going to be tolerated. It will not continue. If that ever occurs again, there probably will be complaints filed by me as the supervisor of the town and the chairman of this meeting with the Carmel Police Department, and those individuals will probably be asked to be removed from the meeting. It's not acceptable behavior anywhere on any level of government. I don't care what happens. It cannot happen. But with that said, I'm going to ask everyone here tonight to respect one another. If you want respect, you have to give respect. And if you're not respectful and your actions could potentially inflame a situation or create a situation, I'm going to ask you to leave. It's as simple as that. Everybody's expected to stay in their seats unless you need to get up to use the bathroom, or if you need to get up and answer a phone call perhaps, or make a phone call. We're not going to be wandering around the meeting room with cameras in people's faces and recording them to try to, in my opinion, trying to get a response out of them. That's not something that we're going to do, and that's not something that's going to be tolerated. Also, I'm going to ask everybody to respect everybody's private zone. Everybody has a zone in which we all live with. If you want to get in somebody's face and disrespect that zone or disregard that personal space, then you yourself could be trying to inflame a situation and looking for a response from somebody. That's not going to happen. All right. Please respect one another. Respect their space and their zone, as I would call it. When I was a police officer, Everybody had his own, a space in which they lived in. If you're gonna violate that space and you're gonna get in somebody's face, you better be careful that somebody may react to that, and they may not react in a positive fashion, all right? So don't put yourself in a situation where that could potentially occur. I'm asking everybody in this room to please follow those rules, all right? Respect one another. Don't create a situation and don't look for a situation. If I see that that's happening, I'm going to immediately stop those people. I'm going to get right in between them, and I'm going to ask everybody to leave. I'm going to ask the people who are involved in it to walk away from each other and leave the building. That goes for everybody. I'm not singling anyone out. I'm just making a statement, all right? Because what happened here last week is not acceptable, and it's not going to be tolerated. It was an embarrassment. It should not occur.
Kenny, can I just add one thing? We've been very lenient with people coming up and asking questions and all, but when people come up to the microphone here, they are to address the board. They're not to address the audience out there and/or the camera there. They're here to just address the board here. So if everybody can, do Robert's rules, and when you come up, you address the board, and,
Yeah.
that's what we're here for. We want to hear from you, but, it's hard to hear from you when, people are like talking to other people over there, or, hey, I'm on camera now. So just please address us so we can hear you, and, facial expression means a lot. We can see sympathy or compassion, when you're talking to us about a certain situation. So, again, just please address us.
Just one other thing. If a reporter, there might be multiple reporters in this room, I don't know. But if a reporter or a journalist asks you a question, a specific question, and the person that's being asked the question says, I have no comment, that should end it right there. Don't repeatedly ask the same question over and over and over again. Because, again, you're pushing boundaries and you're pushing space, all right? Once the person says, I have no comment, that your answer is no comment. Don't repeatedly ask the question. And that's it. As far as I'm concerned, no comment is no comment, and you walk away and you end it. Don't continue to ask the same question 15 different times and looking for an answer and you're not going to get it. So that tends to inflame a situation also. And we're trying to avoid that. Everybody saw what happened, and I'm going to end it with that. It's not going to occur again. If I have to get in the middle of it and I have to get involved, I'm going to. Trust me, I'm going to. And if you want to write something about me in the next day's paper because Supervisor Schmidt intervened and he had to raise his voice and he had to call the police to have somebody escorted out, so be it. I don't care. Just that's the way we're going to do things, because it's just that type of behavior should never happen again. I'm asking for it to please never, ever happen again. So that's it. That's my speech for tonight. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to go on with town business now. So the town board has a special voting meeting this evening also. And the first item is to accept, for the record, all board members, as you can see, are present. I usually do that before the meeting. And Ann Spofford, our town clerk's with us, all the way down to my right. Rick Fulchetti is all the way down to my left. To accept the town board minutes of August 21st, August 28th, and September 4th, 2019. I need a motion to accept those.
So moved.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have two resolutions this evening. The first resolution is making an appointment for the Town of Carmel assessor. Councilman Schneider, would you read Resolution 1, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, pursuant to New York Town Law, Section 22, hereby appoints Glenn Drosy as Town Assessor for a term commencing October 1, 2019, and concluding September 30th, 2025. This resolution is read.
Can I just, you think you said 22, it's 24.
Oh,
Section 24.
Section 24.
I second the amended.
Second.
Second.
Yep.
Okay,
I didn't say 22? I'm going to you for the record.
Ann, Councilman Lupinacci and Councilwoman McDonough both seconded it. Can I get a roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, with pleasure. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay.
That's the first time I ever got clapped at.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 2, is a resolution authorizing entry into temporary access and use agreement with the County of Putnam. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 2, please?
Sure, resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes the entry into a temporary access and use agreement with the County of Putnam for the utilization of Lake McGregor for the temporary irrigation of the improvements being constructed under the project known as Park and Athletic Complex, former airport property, Phase 2, Field Work Contract C-255. Said agreement to be in general substantive form and content as attached hereto and made a part hereof. And be it further resolved, the town supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the town of Carmel. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci and Councilman Schneider. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, thank you. Okay, need a motion to close the special town board voting meeting?
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, that meeting is closed. I need somebody to open the work session.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor of opening the work session? Aye. Okay, so the town board work session is now open. First item on the agenda, Supervisor Ken Schmidt, consider resolution of support to the New York State Department of Transportation to prohibit parking along the south side of Route 6 from the stop line west of the Spain Agency Insurance Building east to Bucks Hollow Road, and to prohibit left turns from Bucks Hollow Road to US Route 6. Several weeks ago, I met with Representatives Doug Cotton and Jenny Baez of the New York State DOT. They met with me to discuss the signal improvements that are being done at the intersection of State Route 6 and 6N in Mahopac. This is a project where the traffic signals at that location are going to be upgraded and improved by the DOT. This is a project that the DOT feels is going to begin in 2020. So it's just going out to bid now, but hopefully they're going to have a contractor in place to move this along. It's a major, major improvement of that intersection and the traffic signals that control that intersection as well. Any of you who have traveled along 6 and 6N, or you're very familiar with that intersection, there needs to be work done there, and the DOT acknowledges that. And they met with me to go over the proposed project. And one of the things we talked about was traffic that is along Route 6 and traveling in a easterly direction in the vicinity of the Spain Agency. The project had called for a traffic light at that intersection to allow vehicles to turn left to merge onto State Route 6N and also into the new downtown municipal parking in Swan Cove area. My suggestion and recommendation to them was, unless you're going to create 2 lanes of traffic at that intersection, it'd be very difficult for a car attempting a left turn to cross over 2 lanes of traffic to merge onto Route 6N or to enter the municipal parking facility, to either prohibit no left turn there or to create a second lane of traffic for vehicles to merge around cars that are attempting a left turn. They said that they couldn't do that they couldn't create a second lane, if you will, for vehicles to merge around vehicles that are turning left. My recommendation was to prohibit no left turns at that intersection if you're not going to create 2 lanes of traffic. So they considered that and got back to me a couple of weeks ago and indicated that they would agree to prohibiting left turns at that location, but the town would have to create no parking on Route 6 in front of the Spain Agency. So it would be on the south side of Route 6 from the stop line west of the Spain Agency, and parking would be prohibited east to Bucks Hollow Road. I know it's a little difficult to follow, but so they would like no parking signs on the shoulder in front of Spain Agency from where the stop bar is at the traffic light east to Bucks Hollow Road. So cars will continue to flow along the Route 6 corridor at that point. They asked if we could consider that, and I think that's something that we should consider. And they will have a no left turn sign posted at that intersection. So it's really all designed to keep Route 6 flowing. So I had agreed to that, and there was one word that was left out of their proposal, and that was east to Bucks Hollow Road. They just had from the insurance building to Bucks Hollow Road, but Bucks Hollow Road, some people would argue that Bucks Hollow Road comes out where Wallhour is. I don't believe that's Bucks Hollow Road. I think that's called Harlem Crossing. So some people would argue it's Bucks Hollow Road. So if that were the case, if we were to agree to what they're asking us to agree to change the language in here, unless you put east in what they're recommending that we do, people would take that as we're gonna prohibit parking all along the shoulder of Route 6 to Wallhour, and we don't wanna do that. We really don't, because that's gonna, we don't have enough parking as it is, and that would create even less parking in downtown Mahopac. So I asked them to include the word east to Bucks Hollow Road, so that would bring the no parking just in front of the Spain Agency. You all know where that is in town? From that stop bar that's on Route 6, the stop line, no parking would be really in front of the Spain building, the Spain Agency building, to Bucks Hollow Road.
Kenny, can they give us a map to show this? Because I'm like a visual person.
They did.
We did.
We do have it.
We have
We
it?
forwarded, I
we have
forwarded
it.
it to the board. It's got a P, it's got a P.
This is a part of the big puzzle for downtown. I mean, if you read the whole letter and all the backup information, here's another thing that I have in there. They're gonna install a new catch basin just before the entrance to the new parking lot and the bank parking lot to catch the water that's going in there now, instead of having the catch basin after the entrance. So, this is just more pieces of the big puzzle that's being put together for downtown Mahopac.
I have to say, in regards to this, I scratch my head because I understand we're looking at big picture. I hear so many complaints about left turns into that particular gas station, left turns coming out of that gas station, issues with the light. And if we're gonna have a left turn anywhere coming east, it should be going into a brand-new municipal park that's gonna be our downtown highlight.
And
Not
traffic
saying anybody who's a resident should just drive through, make a left turn into Mickey's if you want to get some gas, and then come back over if you want. To me, it doesn't make much sense to have no left turn at what's the most major intersection there to allow it to be controlled by a traffic light. But then within 20 yards, we're saying, go ahead, don't worry about traffic, make a left turn across 2 lanes, DOT's okay with this. And by the way, let's stop all traffic moving over to 6N, because that's another big complaint that I've been getting, is people just sitting at that light right by the bank. So I'm kind of scratching my head on this entire thing, figuring this seems like it's going to be more of a headache and less conducive to good traffic flow than what we have presently or what the alternative would be. Very big concerns.
Well, here's the problem. You're gonna have cars making a left turn across 1, 2, 3 lanes of traffic with no signals in place.
Hold on, what 3 lanes and,
That's kind of why I want to see a map.
yeah, because if it's
I
6 and
can't
6N,
find
you know that it's going to be traffic controlled. It actually has a light there to regulate where the cars are going to go. But 20 yards down the road, make your left turns across these 2 lanes with nothing controlling you, plus people coming out trying to make left turns. I'm a rudimentary guy. I am not a civil engineer, but I will tell you from the basics behind it and every complaint that I've heard from residents on that intersection, it has nothing to do with a traffic-controlled left turn coming from what may be the most populous area that we could have coming from outside our town to come and visit what we're going to put millions of dollars
They
into.
can't get in there though. They're turning in front of a green light,
Well, no, that's, if they're redesigning the whole thing, why wouldn't they have a left turn signal? And if they're claiming the parking as well on the side at that exact location, I'm still scratching my head. Hold on. We already have a lane. You guys are saying no parking now. That gives us 2 lanes, so.
There's too many movements. There's too many traffic movements. We brought this up. Mike and I brought it up to them.
There's-
I had said to them, I said, we need to have, then create a turn arrow. Then give us a left turn arrow that allow vehicles to turn left while the Route 6 and the 6N traffic is held up. While they're held up, create a green arrow so cars can turn, make that left turn. They said they won't do it.
Okay,
They-
because, I'm sorry, this letter definitely doesn't say that. It says you suggested no left turn there. When I would definitely think the first thing to suggest is no left turns here and get this green light going.
The reason I suggested a no left turn is because they were very adamantly said no to me for a green left turn arrow. They said, we will not
That's
do it.
amazing.
They said, we will not do it. It's not part of this plan. Cars are not going to be able to merge around other vehicles that are turning left. I said, that doesn't make sense.
Right, they just completely redid 312-84
Yeah.
intersection to do just that. To open it up with that exact same scenario. It's just, it's like,
I know.
but I know dealing with DOT, it's totally different ballgame,
It's
so.
very difficult dealing with.
Maybe in 15 years, we'll get a left turn signal there. Hopefully, next time it's got to be redone.
Yeah. Because I said to them, just hold the traffic up eastbound. westbound on 6N and westbound on 6, hold the traffic up there with a green left turn arrow to give cars, 1 or 2 cars or 3 cars enough time to make the left turn. They said that would cause too much of a capacity issue on Route 6, is what their answer was. They use capacity. Too much
Amazing,
capacity.
because they'll stop everybody who could actually flow through to 6N coming from the west, coming from the east going west. Stop everybody there. And, but they did the same thing at Glenida where we have the meet on 52 and 6. They did the same thing, and they validated it with pedestrian crossing, which nobody actually I've seen cross from the library over to Glenida in years.
So
But-
then to get into the new
Sorry.
municipal lot, you'd
It's
have to
unfortunate.
go down
And
Cherry
turn around
Lane,
somewhere.
Make a left into Cherry Lane, and then make the right onto 6N, and then make the left into the municipal lot?
That's another way to do it,
No,
yeah.
you're going the
And
wrong
then
way, Sue.
that's how I
It's another way to do it, yeah.
You're going westbound. It's the
Yeah,
eastbound,
that's what I need.
it's the eastbound traffic
That's what I
that,
need.
that they're saying.
Make a left on
to
Clark,
make a
Cherry,
left-
one of the
No
two.
left turn from Route 6, merging onto 6N or directly into the municipal parking lot. Unless they're gonna hold up traffic on
Yeah.
6 to allow vehicles to make the left, it's too dangerous for them to try to make the left while oncoming cars are.
No, I mean, they hold it, that's it, they hold the whole traffic now for nothing.
So Kenny, maybe when I get the map, we'll just take a ride out there real quick?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
visually,
yeah.
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 Just
Yeah, this
before
this doesn't have to be acted on right now.
Okay.
I mean, we
Yeah.
could discuss this further, and I'll show you the map that they
Yeah,
gave
and
us.
then we'll walk down there.
And actually, I'll give it to the whole board. I thought we sent it to the whole board.
I only see the attachment with
All
this.
right.
I remember when they were doing the drainage work over by Chamber Park. I
Okay.
don't remember seeing that
All
part.
right, we'll do it, so we'll hold off on this until we can discuss it further. All right,
Okay.
but I certainly agree, Jonathan, with everything you said, I agree with you.
Yeah, but no, if they say no left turn, again, it gets me scratching my head on what are they
But-
doing?
but by
There's
the
gotta be
way,
a solution.
I asked them to prohibit left turns from 6 into that gas station there, all right? Because
Makes sense.
that's dangerous.
Yes.
There's a lot of T-bone accidents
Yeah,
there because
because-
people are turning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People are probably waving people to make the turn from 6 to go into the gas station. And what the drivers aren't doing is they're not waiting to see if cars are merging
Somebody else is
onto
coming
6N.
over.
And
Yeah.
they're getting hit there. So that's a problem there, but they disagreed and they told me that that's something that they're not gonna consider at this time.
That's why they're the engineers.
Okay, all right, we're gonna move on. Number 2, Lake Cassie Park District Advisory Board, consider request to approve and authorize mailing a quarterly newsletter. Board, you have their newsletter. As always, they've done a great job in laying this out. They really have, it's beautiful. This goes to all the residents that are in the Lake Cassie Park District. It's just to inform them of upcoming events and goings-on within the Lake Cassie community. Their board is amazing. They do a great job, as always, and I really appreciate this. It's very informative. It lays out everything, dates, times, events, kids' Halloween party, trunk or treat, Words on Wood, breakfast with Santa, New Year's Eve, additional information. It's really great. Really informs the residents there what's going on.
And they need volunteers, so if you live in the area and you have some time to volunteer for anything, lakecassie@gmail.com.
Okay. All right, next, number 3, Mary Ann Maxwell, Town Controller. Hey, Mary Ann, this is to consider a request to approve and authorize, this is to consider a request to authorize budget revisions for July, August 2018. It's number 2019/4. Mary Ann?
Does have to be green?
Yeah, green,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, this is to consider budget revisions for July and August of 2019. Number 1, in the general fund, we're providing for police vehicle repair from an insurance claim, that's $6,514. Number 2, we're providing for the purchase of AEDs in the police vehicles from grant funding, that's $2,500. Number 3, in the general fund, we're providing for the purchase of the video system equipment and upgrades per authorizing resolution. We budgeted $100,000 for this project, but it came in over budget, so we have to transfer $86,612 from the fund balance. So the total cost of that project was $186,612. Number 4, we're providing for youth self-sustaining programs, and this comes from park self-sustaining fees. That's $15,000. Number 5, we're transferring for the purchase and installation of the rooftop air conditioning unit. We budgeted $75,000 for this project. It came in over budget. It was a total of $83,620, so we have to transfer $8,620 from the contingent account. Number 6, we're transferring $14,200 into the building improvement line, also from the contingent line, and this is to cover the cost of the concrete repairs at Town Hall. I just want to go over the balance in the contingent account after we account for the money we set aside for the master plan and the code revisions. We have a balance of $60,000 left in the contingent line. Number 7, we're transferring $805 to the purchase of chairs in the Justice Court and the courtroom dais. Number 8, we're transferring for the purchase of trailer hitches for the new police Durangos. That's $1,144. Number 9, we're transferring for the uniform and gear costs for newly hired police officers. That's $20,000 going into the police uniform account, and that's coming from the salary line in the police budget. Number 10, we're transferring for lake patrol expenses, a total of $7,042, also from the police budget. Also in the general fund, number 12, we're transferring $6,500 into the retiree health insurance cost. That's in the building and codes department. Number 14, we're transferring for recreation staff admin overtime of $6,000. That's mostly due to the farmer's market. Staff in the recreation department had to cover were paid overtime to help out at the farmer's market. Number 15, we're transferring from miscellaneous recreation expenses within the recreation budget of $7,500. Number 16, we're transferring $2,000 to cover the resident e-waste event that was held a couple months ago. In the highway fund, we're transferring $15,000 for miscellaneous highway expenses. Also in the highway fund, we're transferring $50,000 for machinery repair expenses. Number 19, in the highway fund, we're transferring $5,000 for weeds and brush overtime. In the Lake Secord Park District, we're transferring $2,000 for temporary labor expense. Carmel Water District number 2, we're transferring $4,000, actually we're providing for $4,000 from a hydrant replacement from an insurance claim. In Carmel Water District number 7, we're providing for a well pump replacement, also from an insurance claim of $12,175. Carmel Water District number 12, we're transferring $7,000 for equipment expenses. Carmel Water District 14, transferring for emergency repairs of $2,500. Carmel Sewer District number 1, transferring $4,500 for contractual repairs. Carmel Sewer District number 2, transferring $20,000 for microfiltration chemical expenses due to the cost increase in the contractor contract. Carmel Sewer District number 1, extension 3, transferring $6,000 for contractual repairs. And on page 4, we're transferring $100,000 into the airport capital fund. This is coming from the general fund. It's coming from various accounts in the recreation budget that Jim and I went over. So it's a total of $100,000 that's going into the airport fund to cover contracted playground improvements. Number 31, 32, and 33, we're transferring $395 into the land acquisition capital fund. That's to cover the cost of the purchase of the properties downtown near Swan Cove. $199,200 is coming from the capital fund in the capital fund balance in the general fund, and $195,800 is coming from good neighbor funds that the town was given years ago. And that's it. Any questions?
Thanks, Marion.
Thank you.
Nope, all good.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That was a lot.
Wow, yeah. Whew. You covered it well, though, Marion,
Thank
thank you. Okay, no questions for Marianne, we're good? Okay, thanks, Marion.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next item on the agenda, Jim Gilchrist, Director of Parks and Recreation. This is to consider a request to accept the proposal for the replacement of an air conditioning unit at the Sycamore Park Recreation Building. Jim?
Over in Sycamore Park.
Make it quick.
Yeah, well, in the main building, we have a split air conditioning system. We have 2 condensers. One condenser, which we replaced about 2 or 3 years ago, does the office space in the front half of the main building. And then the rear condenser does the rest of the main building and the concession area. The condenser goes back to, I think, 1995. It's not repairable. And what happens now with the new Freon, that you have to replace the air handler and the condenser together. It took us months to get 3 prices. We tried the firm that does Town Hall. They were just too busy this summer to get us a price. So we were able to get a third price this fall. It's about $1,000 less than the lowest price that we had. We did reference checks on the company. They're a reputable company. They've been in business since 2005. So I'd recommend going with them.
Okay.
And it's the perfect time of the year for us to get this project done
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
before
Yeah, Aspen.
next summer hits.
Aspen, I've heard of Aspen.
You see 'em all around town,
Company,
yep.
Yeah, okay. And it's sized, Jimmy, it's sized correctly?
4 tons is exactly what we
for the
have there.
building? Okay.
Yep.
All right, and that's,
And we have sufficient
Correct for
funds
that
in our
building?
budget for this project.
all right, okay. And it's $6,780, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Jimmy, what's the warranty on it? Do you know?
Yeah, it was part of it, if I remember correctly. I thought it was a 5-year. I don't know if it's part of this, but if I remember correctly, I think it was a 5-year warranty
All
on
right,
it.
yeah, if you can just get that back to me, just have me send something from Aspen.
They're usually 3 or 5.
What's that?
They're usually 3 or 5.
Yeah, okay. I'll send that to you tomorrow morning, Susan.
Good.
Perfect, thanks,
All
Jimmy.
right, just for the benefit of the public, the other vendors that gave proposals, Bureau Almeida was $8,640. Bell was $7,574, and Aspen was the low bidder at $6,780. Low proposal. So,
Yep. Okay,
all
great.
right,
You got it.
okay. Got anything else, Jim?
No, unless you have anything else.
No,
for
I
me.
don't. No, have a good night.
Everything's going good, thanks.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Jim. Okay, next up, Mike Simone, I'll handle this. Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, consider request to authorize to purchase the services for road painting and reflectorized pavement stripes. The Highway Department requests authorization to purchase painting of reflectorized pavement stripes from the Putnam County bid number RFP number 21-19 for the contract period September 1st, 2019 to August 31st of 2020. See attached. So the painting stripes on county roads, the contract period was September 1, August 31st, 2020. Atlantic Pavement Markings Incorporated, Prospect, Connecticut, Industrial Road, was the bidder for that the county uses. So the highway superintendent is requesting to do his fall painting off the county, piggybacking off the Putnam County bid. We've done this in the past. I think we do it every year, as a matter of fact, with painting of the stripes on the road. So we'll continue to do that.
So this is the county's numbers here, not our,
Correct.
okay, because I was looking at it, I'm like, how do we have 250 miles of road that we need to get painted right now?
We're piggybacking
Okay.
off the county. I think we have 184 lane miles of road.
Right, but even,
So-
I don't think we have white stripes and yellow stripes, so I looked at this and I was like, how is this possible? Totally explained it for me,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yep, that's what it is. Thanks, Jonathan.
Piggybacking,
Good
all right.
question, Jonathan. So we're piggybacking. Any questions, further questions on this, comments? Okay. Next, number 6, Glenn Drosy, Town Assessor. This is consider request to add previous service time to full-time status. We've done this in the past with our part-timers that worked here part-time hourly. We've converted their part-time hours into good time for the retirement system for the purposes of their pension. So Glenn has requested credit for his prior service with the town of Carmel to use for calculating his benefits. His original hire date was 8/31 of '93, and that was from 8/31/93 to 11/6/93. My employment with the town was a mix of full and part-time status. I then worked full-time from 11/7/93 to 3/31/2007. Then from 9/19/2011 until present, he continues to work as a full-time town assessor. To date, this is over 21 and a half years of service to the town of Carmel. I request that this total service be used to calculate benefits for retirement purposes while employed, and also for payout of remaining benefits at the time my employment ends with the town of Carmel. So I had the Comptroller's office, Mary Ann's office, and Eileen Brennan, our principal account clerk, who handles our benefits, calculate the time that Glenn is asking for. And so after they calculated that, Glenn's revised hire date, based on their calculations, is 4/24 of '98, if the board authorized the credit of prior service. So from 9/19/11 till present is 8 years. From 11/7/93 to 3/31/07, I'm going backwards, is 13 years and 4 months, and that's for 17 days. And 8/31/93 to 11/6/93, there were 70 hours, which translates into 9 days. So this is what's being recommended by the Controller's Office, along with the Principal Account Clerk's Office and the Board. It's entirely up to you if you want to accept this and credit Glenn for his time of service as a part-time. We've done it in the past.
We've done it in the past.
We've done it for other part-time staff, so I recommend that we grant this to Glenn's request be granted.
No
We
problem.
all good with this?
Yep.
Okay, great. Everybody's-
Kenny, not to, just to go back on one item,
Yep.
Councilman Borelli and I were looking at the proposals for number 4, for the air conditioning at Sycamore Park. Even though that proposal is the cheapest by about $700, $800, if you
Yeah.
look at the equipment, Bell,
Night
for
and day.
for $700 more is giving us a Lennox and First Company. So as one of 5 reading them, I kind of like the equipment that Bell is offering versus the lowest bidder. I just asked
2 or 5.
council that,
Okay.
you know, he
Yes,
said that it's
it's
an
no-
RFP, so we don't have to go with the lowest.
You're comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we want things to last there, and Lennox and Bell's local, great company.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, if it was a couple $1,000 difference, but
Yeah.
this is like $700, $800 difference.
No.
And for the equipment, you know, if everyone could look at it quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe Mary Ann or yourself could call Jimmy up and just say,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
propose to
yeah.
use Bell personally,
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I'm looking at it now, John.
only because of the
Yeah.
equipment, nothing else.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't know enough about
There's no comparison in the equipment.
the equipment,
Which one is it? Oh, next page.
the AC.
Oh, Lennox,
Lennox.
as
This is
opposed to Ameristar. Okay.
To show you
Yeah,
Cadillac.
yeah, it is.
$800.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yep, 4-ton Lennox as opposed to Ameristar. Got it.
I just
Okay.
want to make one correction.
Yeah.
Both of them are town companies.
I don't know, man, I'm not knocking
Yeah,
any
no, no,
company.
no, I'm just
I'm just going by $700, and the equipment is better with Bell. That's the only reason why I'm even bringing it up.
Same.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I
I
think
hear
Susie-
you. I was just saying, because you said he's a local guy. The other
Okay.
person is local as well,
Perfect.
from Carmel. I just didn't want anybody to not think.
4-ton Lennox.
Question, because I'm looking, I see Tempstar 13 SEER 4-ton AC on Bell. But at the back end, I see the 4-ton Lennox condenser, but it looks like they're using Tempstar for the 13 SEER unit. And that's what the 13 SEER unit is, that's the Ameristar on that one, but it looks like they're using Tempstar. And I only know a lot about air conditioners because I had to get a ton at my house. But I know that there are companies that have secondary companies that are the exact same things. I have no idea the difference between Tempstar, Ameristar, Lennox. I've obviously heard of Lennox for 40 years, but they're the same SEER rating, same ton
13
rating.
SEER?
Oh, I see. They have a 4-ton Lennox condenser. I don't know.
And I don't know what, yeah, I don't know, the main line
I
is
have no
is not
idea.
the Lennox, it's the Tempstar, so it's kind of
All right.
one of those head scratchers, you know, maybe.
SEER 4-ton.
I agree. I wouldn't mind spending more money on the product that's the best, but I'm not necessarily convinced that Lennox would be better, especially because it says Tempstar over there as well, not Lennox across the board.
Then let's ask Jimmy to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
I think
out
that's
to
the best
go out
bet.
to the people, clarify the equipment, and then we can make a better decision.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, yep, let's do that. All right, next item on the agenda, number 7, Mike Carnazza, Building and Codes Enforcer. Consider request to authorize attendance to Tri-County New York State Building Officials Conference in-service training certification, November 12th to the 15th, 2019. It's $375 for a 3.5-day event. So it's the 12th annual Last Chance for Hours Conference. This, Mike, as the building and codes enforcer, he has to have in-service hours annually that he has to take to maintain his certification, and that's what he's asking to do. It's in Kingston, New York. I believe he went to Kingston last year also, right?
Correct.
Right. So it's in Kingston again this year, and we send him every year. He has to maintain his certification through training, and I recommend that we approve this request by the building inspector.
Agreed.
Okay, moving on. 8, Mike Carnazza, Building Code Enforcement. Consider request to authorize Joe Wilichowski, who's our fire inspector, to attend the New York State Building Officials Conference in-service training certification October 7th through the 9th, 2019, at the Red Lion Hotel in Albany, New York, $300. Same thing with Joe. Joe is the fire inspector. He has to maintain his certification as well, so he has to take courses annually to maintain that certification, similar to what attorneys have to do. I think attorneys are required to take annual training certifications to maintain their status and certifications, so do building inspectors and fire code inspectors. So we're okay with this?
Yes.
It's in the budget, and something that he has to do annually. Okay, next, number 9, Rich Franzetti, actually 9 and 10. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 are Rich Franzetti, town engineer.
Let's see how fast you
Rich,
can go,
keep
Rich.
these moving. Okay, number 9.
Councilman Lou Bonacci asked me to go as slow as possible.
No, this means quick.
Oh, I thought you did it the other way, I'm sorry.
Okay, this is to extend, the first one's to extend the agreement for maintenance services, Town of Carmel cemeteries, which we maintain. We maintain a bunch of them, our historic cemeteries throughout the town. We take care of them, we maintain them, we cut the grass, we trim them, we blow the leaves off of them. And the company that's been doing it, Kiko Lawn Maintenance, I believe, or landscaping. I know, go ahead, I'm stealing your
You got it, you're almost done.
Go
So
ahead.
we, in 2016, we solicited proposals for the maintenance of the golf courses. The proposal identified the contract would be effective for 3 years, 17 through 19, with the town of Carmel having unilateral option to renew the contract for up to 2 more years, 20 and 21. Kiko's Landscaping was the lowest possible responsible proposer. They have sufficiently performed cemetery maintenance for the past 6 years, and we recommend the Carmel exercise its option to extend it in 2020 and 2021. Cost would be $12,705 for each of the next 2 years. There are sufficient funds in the budget, and it has been included in the budget. There are
Okay.
13 cemeteries.
Yeah, and one thing I like about this company, Rich, is that on Memorial Day and just before Veterans Day and just before Memorial Day, they do a top-notch job maintaining the cemeteries for our veterans. A lot of veterans are buried in these cemeteries, and the veterans group place flags at the cemeteries annually, and when they go there, the lawn is cut, it's maintained well, there's no branches, no leaves, the trimming's done correctly, so that's why this company, to me, I recommend that we renew their agreement with the town. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Kiko's Landscaping?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right, Rich, go on to the next one, please. Consider request to accept proposal for Carmel Sewer District Number 1 sewer lateral repair at Mahopac National Bank.
So as the board directed the engineering department on August 21st, proposals were solicited from 5 contractors for the contract, which is a repair of a sewer lateral for Mahopac National Bank. One proposal was received from Cook Excavating at a cost of $16,000. The work entails providing a new lateral across the parking lot connecting to the existing lateral that has served the former chamber building. Sorry, I have formal in there. The lateral is about 130 feet in length. It would require the town of Carmel to convey an easement to the bank for the lateral. Cook Excavating has performed numerous projects for the town of Carmel and can satisfactorily complete this project. There are sufficient funds in the budget for this contract as provided, and we recommend that the contract be awarded to Ed Cook Excavating for $16,000.
Sounds good.
It would have been considerably more if we had to go out in the street,
Yes. I was just gonna
and
ask
we're
you,
required to do it.
are you okay with this option?
I mean, I walked it,
because I know
I
we-
walked it with
Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he says it'll work.
Okay.
Because
I
I
mean,
know,
if
Michael,
we did
when
this-
we walked out there, there was concerns that it was going from here to here to here. And we
It-
thought that there could be a better way.
I was out there with Rob Vara for about a half hour, a couple days ago. we're required to fix this,
Right.
okay? The only other way of fixing this is by going straight out into Route 6, directly opposite the ATM at Mahopac National Bank. DOT's requiring to have on-site 3 times what this is gonna cost.
Just
They're
everything.
requiring to have an electrical contractor on site in case any of the signal boxes or the signal, the subsurface ones are impacted by any of the excavation. The DOT also requires that you do restoration within 25 to 50 feet of a trench. So it's not just a matter of, hey, we're gonna dig a hole and connect it in. You're going through the signal loops that are over there, and you have to then restore it to state DOT standards, which is,
It would be a nightmare to go out in the street, and it would be 10 times more than this money. So we'll deal with the
Going to over
accessory
here and then
buildings
over there.
down the road, and worst scenarios would just force main it.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on this item for the engineer? Okay. All right, Rich, go on to the next one, please. That's number 11, consider request to renew agreement for maintenance services Lake Cassie Park District.
so proposals were solicited from 6 contractors for the reference contract, which is 2019-008 Lake Cassie Maintenance. The proposal identified that the contract would be effective for 3 years, 2020 through 2022, with the town of Carmel having a unilateral option to renew the contract for up to 3 more years, or any portion thereof. It should be 2 more years. One proposal was received from Terrence Kelly, who is the current operator there, and the cost is $13,000 for 2020, 2021, 2022, and then in 2023 and 2024, it would be $13,500. It should be noted the previous pricing for this work was at the same cost for $13,000 per year. Mr. Kelly has performed this work for the town of Carmel for the last 4 years, since 2016. His performance has been acceptable. We've contacted the Lake Cassie Advisory Board, and they concur with this assessment. There are sufficient funds in the budget for this contract, and we recommend that the contract be awarded for the next 3 years, from 2020 to 2022.
Okay, Rich Terrence Kelly has done a fantastic job.
Yes.
It's not only my opinion, but it's the opinion of the Lake Cassie Park District as well.
And that's what matters.
And that's what matters. And he lives in very close proximity to the Lake Cassie.
He lives directly across the street from the entranceway.
So he's really a 24-hour guard or watchman of the property as well, because he can see cars going in and out of there, and if there's any suspicious activity, he can report it right away. So we get a lot out of Mr. Kelly for what he does for this money. So I recommend that we do renew it. Okay?
Yep.
Everybody good with that? Jonathan, Susie?
Yep.
Okay. All right, next, number 12, consider request to renew agreement for maintenance service, Town of Carmel landfill.
So and just to go back to the last one and to follow up on this one, the reason why these are out for RFP is that these contracts were up at the end of this year, so they needed to be renewed. So Cassie was ending this year, and the landfill maintenance is ending. So proposals were solicited from 14 contractors to perform maintenance at the Town of Carmel landfill.
This should too.
The proposal identified the contract would be effective for 3 years, 2020 to 2022, unilateral option, contract up for 3 more years or any portion thereof, 23 and 24. The request for proposals included a provision to attend a mandatory pre-proposal meeting. It should be noted that no contractors attended the pre-proposal meeting. However, one proposal was received from Coviello Landscaping at a cost of, in 2020, $13,000, and through 2024 at $13,000 a year. The previous pricing for this work was $15,000 per year, 2014 to 2019. Coviello has performed this work for the past 6 years to the satisfaction of this department. Failure to attend the mandatory pre-bid meeting, given the fact there is only one bidder on the project, it's not a public bid, and the GML is waivable on the part of the town. We've checked with the controller's office and been advised there are sufficient funds in the budget, and we recommend that Coviello be awarded this contract to do the landscaping. And this is a regulatory requirement, not to have Coviello, but to have the landfill maintained on an annual basis.
Okay. Everybody knows where the landfill is, right? Driving up to Carmel, you can see it up on the hill. That's the old dump, what it was operated as for years, and it was capped. So it's got a membrane cap on it, and you have to maintain the integrity of the membrane. It's just underneath the soil on the cap. So we can't have any trees growing on it where the roots are gonna break through the membrane or pierce the membrane or damage the membrane and all. So we have to maintain that landfill, which means we have to hire this company, a company, to cut the grass every year. Annually, they cut it down, so when the vegetation starts growing in the spring and it gets to a certain height, this company goes in and they cut it, all the weeds down and little saplings from trees that might be growing on there, just to protect the integrity of the membrane. So we have to do this, we have no choice. And it's a regulatory requirement, I believe, Rich, that the
Yes.
DEC mandates we take care of it. So it's a cost that we have to bear every year, but if we don't, the bigger cost is if the membrane is damaged, to go back and fix it. So that's why we maintain it.
I just can't
Or we get
believe
violated.
14 contractors and one bid comes in. What's that?
One proposal.
Yeah, sorry, one proposal, not a bid, I apologize. Thank you.
And just,
On both of them.
on both of them, yeah, would everybody just change the year, it's a typo. So the first year
2010
is,
has 2010 on it?
yeah, it's 2010.
2020.
Can you send us a new version so we
Yes,
can
I'll
put that with
update
the
that.
resolution next week?
Yeah. All right, you make the change, Jonathan, on two of them, on Coviello's and the one before that,
Lake Castle.
Lake Cassie. Okay, all right, moving on, number 13 is consider request to release retainage for contract number C-242, Carmel Water District number 9, Brennan Construction, and that's for $64,920.38. Rich?
As the board is aware, the reference project, which is Carmel Water District 9's water line installation, was awarded to Brennan Construction. We have been advised by JRFA that the reference project has been completed. In accordance with Article 7, Paragraph 7.3 of the contract agreement, the town will keep for a period of a year from substantial completion 5% the final contract price. In lieu of this, Brennan Construction would like to issue a maintenance bond for that value and have the retainage released with final payment. We've offered this to the town board to consider. JRFA has found it acceptable, and the engineer recommends that the boards consider authorizing this change.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rich. This was for the project at Carmel Water District number 9, which was the main replacement project. This is the Vista Terrace section of Mahopac off of Westlake Boulevard. It's also called Mahopac Hills, I believe. So the project has been completed, and the contractor is asking for retainage in substitution for a different bond. We discussed this earlier, Rich, and the board's going to decide, make a decision on this before next week. Okay? All right. Moving on, number 14. Consider request to authorize payment for repairs and services, Carmel Water District number 4, hydrant replacement, Carmel Water District number 6, which is Tomahawk Creek, well replacement, and Swan Cove demolition of chamber building. So it's really, it's the bank, it's not really Swan Cove demolition, it's the bank property demolition of the former chamber building. So it should be former Mahopac Bank properties, but that's fine.
Apologize for that. The memorandum is being presented to the town board to request payment of the attached repair invoices. They are over the town's procurement policy. Brief summary of the work is as follows. Carmel Water District 4, there was a hydrant replacement. On August 12th, B&J, the operators for Carmel Water 4, notified the engineering department that the 35-year-old air compressor had failed. The compressor serves as the pneumatic controls to the plant. B&J placed a temporary compressor to restore the systems, attached an invoice for $7,024 for the purchase and install of a new oil-less high-pressure wall-mounted compressor and for the dismantling of the original equipment. In Carmel Water District 6, Tomahawk Creek, on September 13th, 2019, B&J, the operators for Carmel Water 6, notified the engineering department that the well pump at well 2 had failed. B&J Plumbing assessed the pump and determined that it would need to be replaced. Attached is an invoice of $6,045 for B&J Plumbing to remove and replace the pump in well 2, and that amount is, let me just get that one correctly, because I didn't write it in my memo correctly. $6,545.73. Then this is the chamber building demolition for Mike's Blue Wheels. The work involved the removal and transport of construction and demolition material from the property, which was from the demolition of the chamber building. The department has verified the tonnage tickets from City Carting against the tonnage claim per day in the invoice, and they reconcile correctly. In addition, this department contacted City Carding to verify the cost per ton disposal cost and was advised that the cost per ton cost is $130 per ton. The invoice indicates a cost of $104 per ton. The representative of City Carding explained that because Mike Blue Wheels does a significant amount of business with City Carding, the differential is likely a quantity discount that is provided to Mike's Blue Wheels. We verified the transportation surcharge of $10 a ton, and he agrees with the invoice. The invoice total after application of customer appreciation discounts totals to $10,154.28. Of that amount, $7,056.78 is pass-through cost for disposal at City Carding, and $3,397.50 is attributable to services rendered by Mike's Blue Wheels. Then there's Vibar Construction. The work involved the supply and operation of excavation machinery and transportation of same, along with repair to storm drain, groundwater sump pump system at the property, along with the removal of an oil tank. Total invoice amount is $8,072. 3 excavating machines were supplied for a term of 7 days at a cost of $3,500, which amounts to $166.66 per day per machine. The repair section requires clarity, so we contacted the owner. He advised that the repairs were necessary to the radiator and cooling system to the machines due to significant dust created by the demolition of the building. We observed the same problem when the cottages were demolished last summer. The board should note that the oil tank was an above-ground unit with no signs of leak. Therefore, we have advised the Controller's Office of the expenditures for all these, and there are sufficient funds in the budget for the work described. However, for the demolition work, there are insufficient funds for the budget for this expense, and a budget transfer request from the contingency line will be required. That's it.
All right, I just want to state that if we bid that work out to raise the old chamber building, to demo it, and take it down and remove it, that probably, and all the work that was done on that site, would have been in excess of $100,000.
Way in excess. Kenny, we keep leaving out there when we just say that the bank building, all the foundations for the other buildings were removed too.
We're taking out too, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was not just the bank building.
Yeah. So there was a tremendous amount of work that was done, site work, and you've all driven by there, and you're able to see the lake clearly now. And once that site is built out, and once we bring that to where we believe it should be, and where we think the residents want it to be, that's going to be a beautiful park down there, along with approximately 90 parking spaces for downtown Mahopac, which lacks parking, severely lacks parking. So that's a great project, and the fact that most of that work, if not all of it, except for material costs and things like that, I'm going to state it again, it would have been over $100,000 cost to the town, which turned out to be an $18,000 cost. So the savings of, if it was $100,000, about $80,000.
You weren't getting it for 100.
What's that, Mike?
You weren't getting it for 100.
No, excess of 100. I don't know where we would have wound up with, over 100. So I'd like to thank those volunteers who operated the equipment and worked on that site for many, many days, and got it to where it is now. So now we need to move forward with the design phase, and we're going to be beginning on that shortly as well. So, all right. We have one more item? Yep, one more. Okay. Consider, Rich, are you doing this one too or no?
I was not.
Okay. Consider request to authorize substitution of bond for 144 Wixon Pond Road. It's tax map number 65.05-1-38. The bond number is 104-525-037. So we have correspondence here from the attorneys, the law firm that's representing the property owner. Dear Mr. Schmidt, please be advised I represent Wixon Pond Estates, LLC, the new owner of the above-mentioned subdivision. A bond was posted for the former owner, Baker Residential Limited Partnership, in the sum of $110,000. Application is hereby being made to the town board for authorization to substitute the existing collateral of Baker Residential Limited Partnership for a cash bond to be posted by Wixon Pond Estates, LLC. Please note that although my client was previously directed to appear before the planning board, upon consultation with town attorney, it was agreed that the town board is the appropriate board to address this matter. It is further noted that although the cost of completion relative to the bond is estimated by my client to total approximately $65,000. My client is not seeking a reduction in the bond, rather a substitution of collateral. So, there's a breakdown of, there's an attachment here from the consulting engineer that represents the developer, or the owner of the property, Mr. Hill. After reviewing the documents on Wixon Pond Estate, formerly Countryscape subdivision, our findings and recommendation are as follows. Item 1 is the only remaining open item to complete the infrastructure. The others are recommended. So paving, so really the top course of paving needs to be done, and they estimated that as 580 tons of top asphalt for $39,400. The paving crew for 2 to 3 days is $25,500. Catch basin repair and cleaning and repoint is needed. Clean debris out of the basins is $4,200. The 7 basins times 600. Retention basins, clearing of heavy overgrowth vegetation, mucking of inlet areas, $6,400. So the $110,000 that is currently the amount of the bond, the sum of the bond that was posted by the former owner, the new owner has indicated that he's willing to substitute that bond for, and he's not looking for reduction in it, he's just looking to substitute the bond. Board, are we okay with this? This has been done previously.
This is
also.
still, it's still collateralized. It's not going from cash on hand to a instrument of collateral. This is
It's
collateral.
going, it would go from surety to cash.
It's going.
Surety to
it's a
cash.
sale and it's going to cash. It's a no-brainer.
In terms of what the town's holding, there's a surety bond, a traveler's bond from 2009 that was the reduced amount to secure those improvements.
But that's not cash.
That's a surety bond, correct. It's a, but performance bond.
Right.
So
So we're exchanging one collateral for the other. It's not like we had cash on hand and now we don't have cash on hand.
substitution of collateral.
Getting cash.
Okay.
Right, which goes in agency and trust, and we just hold it against the
Right.
completion of the improvements.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. No problem at all. Agreed. All right. All right, everybody go with it? Good? Okay. All right. Okay, so that completes the 15 agenda items. I know it was a lengthy meeting, but we got through it rather quickly tonight. So is there any members of the public that would like to come up and address the board on the agenda items that we covered tonight? Come on up at this time. Come up to the podium and state your name, if you will. This is on agenda items only, Judy, this time? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, thank you. As a representative from the Putnam County Traffic Safety Board, on the number 1 work session item, that area has come up on our agenda many, many times, and I was actually going home on 6, that stopped at the light when someone made a left around, not through Crossroads Deli, but around, just like you were saying, and it was horrifying to watch for the moment, you know, because it's so dangerous and you never know what somebody else is going to do. So if this is something that you feel you would want to come to the town board, you know, meeting for the Traffic Safety Board, let me know.
Okay.
And our next meeting is November 20th.
November
So let
20th.
me know and I'll put you on the agenda.
Okay. Can you shoot me an email?
Absolutely.
And I'll put it down as a reminder,
Absolutely.
all right?
Sure.
Attend that. The no left turn that I was really looking for, that I was seeking at this meeting, was a no left turn into that gas station. A no left turn from Route 6, so when you're traveling east on Route 6, no left turn to try
Oh,
to turn
that's,
into that.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
been,
There's been multiple accidents attributed to that, because if the operators of the cars, in my opinion, they're seeing one lane of traffic, there's 2 lanes there.
exactly.
They're observing the one lane on Route 6 stop, but they're not looking for cars that are merging onto 6N that are traveling west.
But that light is red now also. When traveling down 6 is red, they fixed that. So
Yeah.
continuing on 6N
Yeah.
is also red.
But the problem is the stop bar, the stop
Yes,
line
yes.
is further down, it's
Down.
by the entrance to the
Right,
bank.
right.
So it's not before the gas station, it's
Right.
after the gas station.
Yeah, that's
So
been a
cars are
real ongoing
continuing to
problem.
flow down, yeah. And there's a big capacity issue there too with traffic. When that 6N light is red, it backs up. It backs way up
I
past
know. I know.
OTB and Four
I
Brothers
know.
Restaurant. And it's, hopefully, the new traffic light configuration is gonna resolve that issue. I hope so.
Okay.
Remains to be seen. I know they've studied it for a long time, and hopefully we'll get good results.
Okay. On items 7 and 8 about the conferences, no problem with that, absolutely. You know, I do that myself in sending people. But the cost there is for the conference itself. What about the hotel?
He's commuting.
Mike commutes.
Mike commutes.
King-
Mike is
Okay.
commuting.
Okay, I got that
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
I asked
time.
him about that. I said, Mike, you're not staying overnight? He goes, no. He goes, I just leave early in the morning, and
Okay,
it's up in Kingston, so it's an hour and a half drive. But he doesn't mind it. Is it an hour with you? Yeah, All right, thanks. Let me know. Thanks. Let me know. No ice cream.
Tell him he's going for another meeting. Okay. Tell him.
Yeah, John apologizes. He has to leave us now because he's going to another meeting. So,
For the town.
bye, John.
it's a town-related meeting. So, he's not going to a private meeting, it's a town-related matter. I'm sorry.
One other thing on agenda items, and you may have discussed this at other meetings, so forgive me. Swan Cove property, there was $1 million for the cost of the property. Do you have a cost when the entire project will be completed? Did you get any grants for that or anything? I know that was discussed a while back.
That is still in the design element phase, so we really don't have I can't give you
There's
I
no
could give you
cost
a
breakdown.
guesstimate that is gonna be a really rough one. It could be,
Absolutely.
I hate to do that, but
I know.
I'm sure the full build-out of Swan Cove and the municipal parking lot, I'm just guessing, don't hold me to this.
Nope, promise.
Could be in the $1.5 million
Million.
range. Could be
Okay.
more, it could be less, but we're still in the very, very early stages of developing and design for that whole project.
Were you able to get any funding for that?
Not at this time, but I am going to be reaching out to folks that I think are going to be able to help us out with funding for that project.
You used Good Neighbor funds for part of the
yeah.
acquisition.
I was gonna say, we did get funding for that.
You
No.
used Good Neighbor.
Not for Swan Cove. For the
bank
purchase of the bank parcels, we had $190,000 of Good Neighbor funding that we used to go towards that purchase price of $395,000. Now, the Good Neighbor funds came about in 1997 when the watershed agreement was put in place with New York City DEP. They gave funding to municipalities, the 6 towns and villages throughout Putnam County. They gave them funding for what's called Good Neighbor projects. And what a Good Neighbor project does, it has to be a public benefit, so the public has to benefit from that. And the acquisition of real property counted towards that. In other words, we seeked approval on that from Mike Myers from the DEP, and he said that purchasing land for a public benefit qualifies for the use of that funding. So it was $190,000 of New York City money that we used towards the purchase of the bank properties, which was $395,000. So about half of the cost of the bank properties came from New York City. And that's important for the public to know that.
Okay.
Really, our cost was about $200-something
Kenny?
thousand for 4 parcels,
Hey, Ken,
which is about an acre of land.
you're going to end up borrowing and bonding those improvements, so there'll be public hearings on the amount of the borrowing and on the estimated construction and improvements before you do it. So you'll know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think pretty shortly we should be having a work session item in regards to proposals for professional services regarding that. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm going to be meeting with John in the next 2 days to talk about it. Councilman Borelli wanted to meet with us also, so I don't know if we want to do that. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, so we got to sit. No, sir, I said you had talked about, I'm going to have a meeting with John and talk to him, not you and I, okay? What I want to get to the board is lay out the phases, I don't want to call them phases, but the aspects of the project, because there's a couple of different things going on with this. Make sure that we have buy-in from the board on how we're going to put the RFP out, and then put that RFP out for those design services.
And one of the things that we're going to be looking at is there's a water course that runs between the two parcels, between the 2 sites. That water course is completely choked with sediment and silt from runoff from stormwater, from up on the ridge, from up on Lakeview Park. All the water, rainwater, runs into that one water course, and it's completely filled. Yeah, because really what we need is just shovels and shovels and shovels of the silt and sediment to be removed from that water course. And then we can look at how we're going to, what type of aquatic plants we're going to be putting in there, because you need aquatic plants along both of those banks of that water course. But first, it has to be dredged out, completely dredged out and cleaned out.
The Army Corps engineers get permits. What we did was the easy part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we're hoping that the DOT is going to help us out with that because most of that sediment and silt that's in there came off their roads. So, and through their stormwater system, which dumps out there. So once that's fixed, a lot of the stormwater that's backing up when there's a heavy rain that flows into our parking lot, that's going to be, a lot of that will be fixed by that, being dredged out and opened up so everything the water can flow better through there. But the parking lot's going to have to be worked on too to bring the elevation up so the water doesn't collect in there as well. But that's all going to be all during the design phase, engineering design of that project. That'll be addressed. Okay. I don't know how I got onto that topic, but boy, we really got off course. But anyway, it was important to note that. I think Judy brought me there. Yeah, somehow. All right. Is there anybody else who would like to come up? This is just agenda items only at this time, Scott? Okay.
How you doing? Scott Ring. If ever my name is from the days, it's Ring, like ring on your finger. Okay, so the pronunciation is clear going forward. A couple of things on the agenda. On one, Judy mentioned the turn there. I don't know if this is doable, but I actually see the most problems people turning left out of the gas station eastbound onto 6 because eastbound into the gas station from 6. So what you have is people who are stopping who are westbound on Route 6. They're going to let them go through, but people don't. They can't. Neither car can see each other if you're going on 6N. So I wonder if it's a double yellow. So I wonder if there could be some kind of camera or notifications of camera, like a red light camera, that tickets people from going left over the double yellow. I mean, it might raise some revenue, but more importantly, hopefully it'll stop people, especially if you can't get any other expansion there.
Good point. Scott, just to comment on that real quick. You mentioned it, and I agree with you. There should be a no left turn eastbound into that gas station, and there should be a no left turn exiting that gas station. All the traffic should flow right coming out of that gas station, not try to make a left over 2 lanes of traffic to merge onto Route 6. It's dangerous.
DOT said they're going to address it. Once we move the signal line and do the sidewalks, then they're going to reevaluate them. They didn't dismiss that they're not doing anything with the gas station. They just said they're going to come back.
Because that letter in chapter 5 looks like it's very specific to that.
It does.
Paragraph 5 seems very specific to, they're pleased with what the results are from stopping traffic going 6N bound, and it's reduced, and until further information comes, I think, from the town on accidents, they're gonna leave it as is, according to that letter, paragraph 5, am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Should the town observe a safety issue at the gas station upon location, we will evaluate.
Yeah, I agree with you, though, I think I'm not a civil engineer, I think it's one of the worst
Yeah.
designs possible.
No, I think the design is already double yellow, so it's already saying you can't turn left there. So
You
the
should.
design is already set.
Right, but they
Right.
won't even put a sign up
No, I
there,
know, but I
from
mean,
what I understand, right, no signs whatsoever for that.
Right, so then, I mean, isn't one way to have town enforcement just by the CPD to stop the turning? I don't know. I truly don't know if that's a
Do we
possibility.
have jurisdiction for changing state roads and putting up signs on state roads?
No, we don't.
No, but can't you put it on Bucks Hollow even, across a sign on Bucks Hollow?
That one we should be able to do, the Bucks Hollow we should be
No,
able
no,
to do,
but I'm
no
saying
problem.
on Bucks Hollow across from the gas station, so if you're exiting the gas station, you're looking across Route 6, you see the sign saying, no, I don't know if that's allowed or if that's kind of instructing people to do on a state road, but.
Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
know the answers, but I think it's absolutely something that should be looked at.
There's way too many movements. There's too many vehicular movements at that intersection.
I mean, ideally, you have a traffic circle, but I know that's an impossible thing to do with the
Yeah.
state and everything. That's,
That
No,
would
I mean,
be-
we suggested it.
That would be
I-
nice.
We did. No, we did. We suggested it.
But
Because traffic
unfortunately,
cir-
there's just not enough, I think they said that there's not enough distance across that they'd be able to make it manageable, which, to me, I scratch my head, I just came up 55, 44, I think it is, by Arlington, and
well, they have
it's one of the largest high schools I've ever seen. It's so big, it's got a Dunkin' Donuts, and they operate with a traffic circle. Yeah, it's all traffic
Even in
circles.
Yorktown, they have the traffic circle. The Yorktown and Putnam Valley line, they have that traffic circle. It's a one-lane traffic circle. So I'm also not an engineer.
Thank you. Kenny.
Oh, I'm sorry, Scott.
No, sorry.
You finished?
The other item was item 6. I just, there's not a whole lot of positivity and all that, so I just want to say that I'm pleased that Glenn is going to be reappointed. I don't know him personally at all. I know that there was other names floated and that were confirmed, and I think that it would have done a disservice if Paul Yonke was rehired. So I'm glad that, and my taxes have gone up, so I'm not personally pleased necessarily, but I think that the right decision was made with that.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody else would like to come up on the agenda only at this time? Come on up. If not, we'll move on to new business. Okay, let's move on to new business. This is the open forum portion of the meeting. New business where you can come up and address the town board if you're a resident, taxpayer, or business owner in the community. You can come on up at this time. Any new business tonight?
I just happy birthday. I'm going to say that too.
Okay, Scott, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Anybody bring a cake and candles or no? Okay. All right. Good night, everyone. Okay, I know. Nobody cares that it's my birthday. That's all right.
Want everybody to sing?
No, I don't. No. Oh, no. No, I do have 2 announcements, though. Do you have something, Judy?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I want to address what happened last week, being that I was here. I know you made a statement, and of course, as town supervisor, you absolutely had to, and I agree with what you said. It was very unfortunate, it was very frustrating, it was very embarrassing. I want to address when Jean is up here. Jean has been here way before she was a candidate. She knows the issues. She's up here, and when she asks questions, it's for the truth. And I know when Mike was up here before, he was on the other side, did the same thing, came with folders, came with papers, and really sucked it to you guys, about the truth. So it is about the truth. It's not about politics. It's not about a party. Some things were said to Jean that I just felt were inappropriate because she's been encouraged to ask the tough questions. We all have to ask the tough questions, be it in our family, in a business, with, whoever in our lives. We need the truth, we need honesty, we need transparency. I don't want to go through the entire thing because I had a statement I was going to read, but I don't really want to read it.
Did I cover it?
Pretty much
Some of it?
so.
Okay.
I also felt that personal space is, we teach this to kids. Personal space is really important, and when somebody is in your face, that's very inappropriate. I also felt that because they've been kind of antagonistic towards each other in the past, maybe the best response would have just been for Mike and family to just leave immediately and not have that happen at all. I do applaud anyone who defends someone when it's perceived or it seems like they're being bullied. I do, but unfortunately the situation kind of turned into an observer, to somebody in the community. It kind of looked that at some point Mr. Wilson was also being bullied. It was kind of tough.
You mean he was bullying a little bit? He was bullying?
Well, I feel that being in your
Yeah,
face.
yeah, the
Mike,
in your
and
face.
going up and taking pictures of Nicole like that.
Tonight was a no comment night, but your comment that Mike and family should leave the building, I think is a little strange.
Strange?
Mike and family should leave the building? I'm on this side, I'm a councilman.
No, I know, but you were going into, the meeting was over, you were going into executive session. That's what was announced. I just felt that at that point, everybody should have gotten up and gone into executive session.
I'll leave it.
That's okay, that's okay, you're absolutely in
I'll
your
leave it.
right to. I just feel we really have to do a better job of communicating. It's really important respecting people's opinions and beliefs and working together not only for the betterment of this county, but for our kids. Kids' eyes and ears are open, they're seeing everything, we're role models. I just really think we have to do a better job. And as a side note, I would just like to let people know that may not know that Dr. Seuss is a renowned children's author who went to Oxford and won many awards for his writing. And there's a National Day of Reading that's celebrated worldwide on his birthday. So he's pretty renowned. Thank you.
Okay.
And happy
Thank-
birthday.
Thank you, Jody. Yeah, Judy, thank you.
The awards were won for fairy tales, though.
All right. Is there anybody else that would like to come up, new business, open forum portion of the meeting? Come on up at this time. If not, I have 2 announcements I have to make. 2 positive announcements.
Positive?
Yes. Huh?
2 positive announcements?
2 good announcements.
Okay.
2 good community announcements.
Good evening. My name is Carl Eberly, and I'd like to echo the comments of the young lady who was speaking before me. It was a disgrace, and I thank you, Mr. Schmidt, for making the point at the start of this meeting. That's one reason why I came. I came to see, are we just going to fluff this thing over and not say anything about it? Right? But I'm glad that you said something at the very beginning of the meeting. But I would like to know what has happened in this past week about this situation, because last week we were told, well, we hired an attorney and we can't talk to anything. So what did the attorney say to the board in this past week about this?
Yeah, so we did not hire an attorney last week. We were in the process of interviewing, finalized the interviews, received a proposal, should be discussing voting this week coming up. Unfortunately, the proposal didn't come until today after discussion, so we should have follow-up discussions, and the next week we should have a resolution. No further to comment aside from that at this point.
Okay, thank you. And one thing I also got a kick out of personally was I thought it was really something when Mr. Borelli called him Dr. Seuss, because I took that as he was being derogatory towards him. And when you stop and see Dr. Seuss, the man's a great guy, made millions of dollars, and yet you're trying to make something out of it that was derogatory. I thought that was wrong. And I also noticed that Mr. Borelli did not say to everybody who's here that he's sorry for his actions from last week. And I think that's all he had to say, but he hasn't.
I don't think the other gentleman said he was sorry for his actions either. The gentleman that left that was here,
Yes,
did he apologize for his actions?
he left
I know,
before this
I-
part of the meeting.
I know, but
But-
we can't, let's
But
not
that's what
single
we're
out.
gonna do now is-
Let's not single out Mr. Borelli when there was another gentleman here, in my opinion, that antagonized that situation, that created that situation that we dealt with last week.
There were a couple of people that antagonized things.
I know, but you know, you want to keep poking somebody, you keep poking them, eventually the person you're poking is going to have enough of it.
I understand.
And when you bring
I
family,
got it.
let me just finish. When you bring family into it, when you mention somebody's family, or you bring that family member, you make it part of what you're arguing, or what your issue is, that's not right. That's
You're
not right.
100% correct.
Children are
And I
off
agree
limits.
with you on that.
All right.
Family should never be brought in. It's something between 2 people, that's it. But coming up with, well, somebody has to say they're sorry. Well, he doesn't have to say he's sorry because the other person didn't say he's sorry. That doesn't make it.
Could I interrupt 1 second?
Excuse me?
Could I interrupt 1 second?
Certainly, sir.
Bob, did you take my quote that I gave you regarding, as a councilman, I sincerely apologize for any embarrassment I caused the town of Carmel. As a parent, I apologize for nothing.
Fine. But where was that?
It should be in his article today.
Okay, I mean,
Oh, it's in there, okay.
thank you. But, because I was looking for this week and I didn't see it.
Comes out today.
Technically, it comes out tomorrow, right?
Oh, well, no wonder why I didn't see it.
It's hot off
But
the
it
press
would have
for
been
you.
nice
I
to
also
say
had,
it
I also
at the
had a
meeting.
very nice conversation today with Mr. Ring. Did I pronounce that correctly? Okay? I had a very nice half-hour conversation today with Mr. Ring in my office.
Perfect.
Okay?
That's what everybody should have, it's nice conversations. But I just wanted to make my point of view the way it was said.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We're going to put last week behind us and move forward.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sure.
So I just want to comment just because Councilman Borelli mentioned that we spoke. I just want to make sure it's on the record that we spoke just person to person, man to man about last week. It wasn't any, there's no secrets in our conversation, but.
Yeah, no,
as
that's how I meant it.
No, I know that, but as long as you said we met for a half hour in your office, I have a position in the community, I came to him not in that position as somebody who was named, and we spoke, and it was a very nice conversation. And it was similar to a conversation I briefly with you last week, where there's gonna be times where, due to my position, we're gonna butt heads, but it's not a personal thing, and we talked. So I just wanna put on the record that it wasn't about any specifics or any town business or anything like that. It was a personal, I felt it was best to, I knew I was coming tonight. I didn't want the first time that he and I saw each other in person to be in this setting. So that's it, just want to put that out there.
Yeah. No, Scott, thank you. And you've been a gentleman constantly, you know, the conversations that we've had, we've spoken about, you know, certain things, and you attended the presentation of the check from Senator Harkam, and we had a conversation there. So you've always been a gentleman as far as I'm concerned, and a professional about, you know, the community and the position that you're in now, so.
My wife was on that parking meeting, so I was there because she was part of the committee.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you for being there. All right, is there anybody else, new business? Otherwise, I'm gonna make these two announcements that I'm trying to make. So, John?
Sir,
Okay,
I'll be very quick.
all right.
And I'm no gentleman, everyone knows that, and I accept that. But I just had a couple of quick questions. Did the grant applications go in on a timely basis for the water distribution
They did.
project?
We got another reject notice, and guess what it's for? This one actually came with an explanation, you're never gonna guess.
Yeah, I know, because of median income.
The median income.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. So, the other question was, so we, just on a timing basis, on the pipeline job, we were talking months ago about the potential that it would be completed sometime before the end of 2020. Are we still on schedule for that?
We are,
Cool.
yes, we are.
Yeah, I think we just got numbers in regards to bonds, that was the last step. I think we're at like 1.38, a really low figure on the bonds. If I could recall, it was
Yeah, the bond- we just
extremely
had a
low.
bond sale, and it was, yeah, it was, the interest rate on them came in very low, which was great.
Great.
I think, Jonathan, you're right, 1.38 or something like
If
that.
I briefly saw the memo, but I remember thinking, wow, that's a
What was it, Mary?
Okay, the bands were the 1.38,
1.3 on the
2.1.
bands, and 2.1 on the bonds?
Great. And finally, the storage tank project's on schedule as well?
It's on schedule, it's on schedule as well.
It's a little British.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. Everything's on
Everything is-
schedule.
Schedule.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, John, thanks for being here. Okay, anybody else? Go once, twice? No? Okay. My two quick announcements, these are really good. People have been asking for these, and we're gonna deliver. We're having another e-waste day, so anybody who has electronic waste that you'd like to dispose of, the date is Saturday, November 2nd, right at the Michael Geary inline roller rink across from the Mahopac Fire Department. We did this in June, it was a huge success. We had to order additional containers because the ones that we had there at the start of it weren't enough to hold all the e-waste. So this time, we're gonna have 4 containers there, and watch, we'll only fill 1, right? But we want to be prepared, so we're gonna get 4 containers. And the gentleman that's working with us, this is really good news. This is gonna be at no cost to the town. The first one we did in June, there was a cost to the town, but this one, there's no cost to the town. The gentleman that's doing the e-waste, that's disposing of it, is gonna provide the containers, and he's at no cost to the town. He's also gonna have labor there, helping us out, loading the containers with the e-waste. So this is gonna be it may be a minimum cost of maybe 1 person from Recreation that's gonna help us that day with residents removing the e-waste from their cars and showing them which container it has to be deposited in. So that's that. So Saturday, November 2nd, everybody's been asking about another e-waste day. It's scheduled. I put it on Facebook. Most people saw it. It's on the town website as well. What's acceptable for recycling and what's not. Take a look at it. And this is for Town of Carmel and Mahopac included residents only. And the second one is a shredded day. People have been asking about, could the town do a shredded day? Well, we're doing a shredded day. So that's scheduled for October 12th. Same location, the Michael Geary inline roller rink across from the Mahopac Fire Department. That's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's for Town of Carmel residents only, which includes Mahopac and Mahopac Falls. 3 boxes per vehicle we're going to allow. And the type of trucks that are doing the shredding, you can actually watch your documents go through the shredding process. The size of the box is, it's a legal size box. A legal size box, which is, I guess about that big. Yeah, you can't bring a big refrigerator box in, or an air conditioning unit box. It's a legal size box. So you can watch your documents being shredded. There's a monitor there if you're interested and you really want to see them go, that they're shredded and destroyed, you can watch them be shredded and destroyed. So that's October 12th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to keep announcing this. It's going to be on our website. And two big events that are for the residents of the town at no cost to the town. It's part of your taxes that we're providing this to the residents. So they've been asking for it, and we're accommodating. That's a good thing we're doing. All right? Board members have any announcements? No? When do we meet again? October 2nd? Is it? Next meeting? October 2nd. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so the next meeting is October 2nd. It's a voting meeting, right here at 7 p.m. What's that? Oh, and one other, thank you, Greg, and I'm presenting my budget. So my 2020 supervisor's tentative budget, I have to submit it by September 30th, right, Marianne? So, but we're going to present it to the public on October 2nd. Marianne's going to be here. She's going to be doing most of the talking, and she has a PowerPoint that she's going to present, and we'll go through the whole entire supervisor's tentative budget on October 2nd. You guys will like it. We're under the cap, which is a good thing. So, all right. So that's it. Good job, Marianne. I need a motion to close. So moved by Councilman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Borelli. All those in favor? Aye. Good night, everyone. Be well. See you on October 2nd. Now we're voting.